QR codes on consumer products today?
This is a great one. Dude, this is huge. Yeah, so check this out. So here's some slides I got from BananaConf. Just finishing up this conversation on technology all around the world, blockchains inspired this, that, blah, 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 blah. I walked off the stage. I walked back on the stage. One more thing, and bam. So this is the end of the presentation, which is always the best part, right? Steve Jobs style. Do you know what this is?
It's a chicken noodle soup Campbell's and a UPC code.
Yep. So pretty popular product. All the products basically have this linear barcode on them. This is how, when they sell products, this is how they know how much to charge for them. Basically, it's got 6 digits here. That's the vendor code. They got 6 digits here. That's the product code. Wouldn't it be cool if we could convince a really big brand to change from these linear barcodes, like you said, UPCs, into a QR code? You could actually attach other stuff onto the QR code, like a serial number. It'd be really simple. So you just take the existing idea, you take scanning barcodes when you buy stuff, you switch it to scanning QR codes when you buy stuff. And if you put serial numbers on there, then that's an NFT. So anything with a serial number is an NFT. It's not a blockchain NFT, but it's just an NFT. And actually, I was talking with GS1. And GS1 are the people that actually give out these 6-digit numbers. They're actually in charge of this standard right here. And wouldn't you know, they're actually implementing this. So they've got a new specification out there for the QR codes. And this is actually pretty cool the way this thing works. It works the same way as the barcodes, the UPCs, but it's got QR codes and you can actually put more info in there. So there's a little bit more. You can have the SKU, which is the number we have before. You can have a serial number, which uniquely identifies products, so different number for each thing. You can put expiration dates for milk or for whatever expires, and some other stuff. So that means that if you go to Whole Foods and you scan the milk, at the same time that they're scanning it to tell, so that you can pay for it, it'll just mark up as red if it's expired. You're never gonna buy expired milk again. It's gonna be impossible. The QR code that you use for buying stuff is also a URL, so it connects to a website. The websites are a special format of website URL. And I talked to some friends and they said, well, do I really want to scan that thing? Are they going to hack into my phone or this or that? I don't like scanning every QR code I see. The cool thing about this is because the URLs are standardized in a certain way, you can actually scan this offline. You can actually just download the list and scan it by yourself. This information works with zero privacy problem. It works offline. It works on device, offline. And then if you want to go online, obviously you can see whatever crap they want to tell you about this product, right? It's just a website. They could put anything they want there. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was recalls. I've had a recall for food. You go in your fridge and is this recalled? Is that recalled? You don't know, and you just throw it out. Well, with this format here with the QR code, you can just scan it. And when they announce the recall, they'll just tell you which, what the lot number is, and it'll just scan the lot numbers. You will immediately know if it's recalled or not. This actually reduces the cost of the recall. Because it's easier to do, it's going to cost less, there will be more recalls, which is a good thing, more voluntary recalls. So if some people are getting sick, they'll be like, you know what, we'll just recall that batch. There's only 100 of them. Oh, and PS, also you can connect it to NFTs. Because the URL does not need to be on a web server. It could be on IPFS. It could be on any server. So wouldn't it be cool if we had a switch? I want to tell you about the first product real fast. The first product was Wrigley's Gum. This was 1974. This is the first one that had the UPC label on it. Gums are pretty small, right? So they fit this barcode. They took up a lot of room to put it on there. And they wanted to start tracking it on their machines so they can ring people up. We want to get rid of that. We want to switch them to QR codes. And GS1 Digital Ink is doing this for all the brands. So actually, this new QR code is the new standard starting this year in 2024. So that means the big companies, the small companies, everybody will be switching from the barcode to the QR code. Just like any other standard, this is going to take a while to be implemented in industry, but this is the new recommendation for all products you buy. Super excited about this. We've been trying to promote the ideas of transparency and equity and making products better and more expensive by just tracking them a little better. This is going to be coming to every product near you worldwide.
Yeah, I'm really interested in this because I do work with a lot of companies that try to adopt the GS1 standards. So are you saying that this is that GS1 has adopted the QR code?
Oh yeah, GS1 has adopted QR codes. The name of the specification is called GS1 Digital Link.
Mm-hmm.
And this replaces linear UPC/EAN/barcodes.
Right. Yeah, so I was saying I do work with a lot of companies that are trying to either standardize on a GS1 protocol, right, the data standards, and they go through a lot of process, a huge amount of processing of their data to try to get it right, from a data quality standpoint, data standardization, and it's a huge problem. But at the end of the day, if they're able to onboard onto GS1 and be a vendor, then it becomes a huge value add from a supply chain standpoint, right? Because they're able to distribute the information about the products in a way that can be onboarded to third parties or other companies a lot easier. But I'm curious to understand, where do NFTs come in? Are you just kind of speculating that would be the next move for a company like or an organization like GS1? I think they're a consortium, right?
They are. So they are the Brussels, I think they're Brussels nonprofit. So first of all, serial numbers are NFTs. Non-fungible means serial number, token means worthless. If you slap the NFT onto a product, then that's a digital twin. So what's going on here? They have a specialized format for the URLs. Give you an example. You scan it, campbells.com/GS1/ and then the 13-digit /expiration date equals, give me that, /serial number equals. They're probably not going to serialize Campbell Soup for another 50 years, but whatever. That's a serial number. And because the server, you can actually swap it out. You could actually hit a Web3 server. You could actually hit IPFS to get this information. So you could load this from IPFS, and now this is an NFT on blockchain. It's crazy, right?
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. So the people using GS1 or that have products that are trying to distribute and and be part of the consortium and make sure that they're adhering to all these data standards about their products, they're not necessarily minting NFTs. What you're saying is, okay.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. The GS1 is not going to have a registry of NFT contracts. They're not going to have a registry of blockchain stuff. Doesn't matter to them. However, this technology is compatible with blockchain if you want to use it for that. And if you don't want to use it, it's still an NFT if you put a serial number on it.
Yeah. Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. This is really amazing and simple. It's well spelled out. And additionally, just for Europe, so digital product passports also talk about some of the emissions figuratively inside of the product, right? I was talking with this. I'm like, great, when does this go into effect? Like 2030, 2040? They're like, no, it goes into effect 2024. We've been working on this, and this is the best we got. Let's go.
Hey, this GS1 stuff is really interesting because I guess I work with a lot of customers that are trying to figure out what's the best way to be part of the GS1 consortium, because then they get preferential treatment right from other distributors, for their product. I hope that we get to a point where eventually, materials and products and things that are used to make food products, eventually, will we ever get to a point where you can actually trace, all the way from farm to fork, right? Or ingredients all the way to package. So they're able to track like a hog all the way from the farm, to the store shelf, so, for safety reasons, recall reasons. And I'm wondering what your point of view on that is, right? I mean, I know right now we're talking about GS1 converting from UPC to a QR code, but do you see a world where that would ever happen?
Absolutely. I was actually working on this too. I was working on cattle proof, which is the same thing, but for cows. They were interested in age and source verification. First of all, anything that you export has to be age and source verified. So we looked at ear tags, we looked at branding, we looked at the brand inspectors. So the people that come to your farm and they check the branding on your livestock, they count them and you pay tax per head. That technology is compatible with NFTs. We have gone through this process with the state authorities, and they will accept an NFT system or a RFID ear tag or whatever. They'll work with you, right? So as long as you're tracking the animals and you're paying the tax and it's easy for them, they're happy. When you do that, if you serialize it, you're just, again, increasing the value of your cattle or your hogs. Okay, what else can we do with it? We can also track, maybe there's different flavor profiles for different, different batches of fruit. XKCD photos of Joe Biden. So basically, if you've got 500 photos of Joe Biden eating a sandwich, then people are going to get excited about one of them, and it's going to trade for more. Why not do the same thing for cucumbers and bacon and everything? You know, people get excited about wine. Oh, this wine came from this season or that season or what, and they pay a lot more. Like, they'll pay a lot more money for wine from this season or from, right? We can get them excited about people that blend the whiskey, right? Once you do that, it's no longer just whiskey, it's batch 5 whiskey. So you're just making things more valuable. Just like when you go to Japan, and you wake up at 4 or 3 a.m. to pick the fish, right? They're looking at the fish. This is not an online auction. They're showing up. They're like, that's the fish I want. That's the tuna or something. And they buy them based on visual inspection. Well, that's the same thing you're doing with this when you put serial numbers on it. I'm trying to help you sell this. The prices are pretty cheap, right? So if you want the barcode, if you have one off, but no, you can get it from GSA. You can get a vendor prefix. You buy the first 9 digits. That's unique. And then the 3 digits, you can do anything you want with them. There's a lot more you can do with GS1. You can do the location codes, but you can always do that later. You don't have to do it up front.
Very interesting, man.